Hello, Focus learners, and welcome to this explainer. The auto industry is undeniably shifting away from fossil fuels. But let's be real, jumping straight into a fully electric vehicle, it leaves a lot of buyers feeling a bit hesitant. So today, we're looking at what might literally be the perfect middle ground, the plug-in hybrid. It really all starts with a feeling so many drivers know intimately: range anxiety. That lingering fear of being stranded on the highway with a dead battery is a massive, massive hurdle. But what if you could have emission-free, pure electric commuting during the week, combined with the quick refueling, go-anywhere freedom of a gas tank for those weekend road trips? Well, that is exactly the promise of the plug-in hybrid. Okay, let's dive into this. A plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV for short, is essentially a hybrid vehicle that takes the whole concept one massive step further. It's equipped with a pretty substantial battery pack that you can recharge by literally plugging a power cable right into the external electrical grid. But crucially, it still has an onboard internal combustion engine, acting as a generator or a secondary power source. So you're pulling energy from the grid when you're parked at home and then utilizing liquid fuel when you're on the move and that battery runs dry. To truly demystify this tech, we need to contrast it with the standard hybrids we've known for years. A standard hybrid electric vehicle relies entirely on its internal gas engine and regenerative braking to charge up a pretty tiny battery. You can never actually plug it into a wall. A plug-in hybrid, however, completely changes the efficiency equation. It features a much larger battery pack that you do charge from a wall outlet, and that gives you a true all-electric driving range where the gas engine doesn't even need to turn on at all. Section 1. The mechanics: how PHEVs actually work. Underneath the sleek exterior of a PHEV, automotive engineers typically use one of three basic powertrain architectures. First up is the series hybrid, where the vehicle is propelled solely by electric motors. The gas engine is basically just sitting there generating electricity for the battery. Next is the parallel hybrid. Here, both the internal combustion engine and the electric motors are physically connected to the wheels, pushing the car forward concurrently. And finally, we have the series parallel architecture. This is an incredibly flexible system that can operate in either mode depending on what's most efficient at that exact millisecond. Let's move to this and see how it builds into an everyday road trip. The car essentially manages its energy using a brilliant step-by-step logical framework called operating modes. Imagine a weekend road trip. You start your morning in charge-depleting mode, silently gliding through your neighborhood purely on grid-charged electricity. Then, once you hit the highway, the car might automatically shift into mixed mode, beautifully blending gas and electric power for optimal efficiency. Now, if you know you'll be driving in a zero-emission city center later on, you can actually select battery hold, locking out the electric motor to save your remaining charge and using only combustion. Or, if you need a top-up on the go, self-charge engages the engine to actively act as a generator and recharge the battery while you cruise. It is just an absolute masterclass in energy management. Section 2. A surprisingly long history. Now, you might think this is all brand new stuff, but we didn't actually start with the Prius. Surprisingly, the very first gasoline-electric hybrid was the Lunar Porsche Mixed Hybrid, produced all the way back in 1899. And yes, early hybrids could be plugged in. Fast forward to 1969, and General Motors introduced the XP883 commuter concept car that you could plug right into a standard North American 120-volt wall outlet. But the true modern era didn't really kick off until 2008, when Chinese manufacturer BYD launched the F3DM, the world's first mass-produced plug-in hybrid. Shortly after that, in 2010, GM revolutionized the US market by launching the Chevrolet Volt. And this brilliantly illustrates just how far the technology has come. 3.6 million. That massive figure represents the cumulative sales of BYD plug-in hybrids alone as of May 2024. What started as this niche engineering experiment way back in 1899 has literally scaled into a global manufacturing juggernaut, completely transforming the entire automotive landscape. That rapid scaling brings us to a fascinating geographical market reality today. By 2024, the data shows a massive shift eastward. China now definitively leads the market, contributing an astonishing 76% of all global PHEV sales. Furthermore, the 5 largest producers of PHEVs globally are Chinese manufacturers. Industry giants like BYD and Geely are really dominating global production lines and driving this technology's rapid evolution. Section 3. The reality: efficiency and operating costs. This simple number, 50, is incredibly powerful. According to energy studies, each single kilowatt-hour of battery capacity in a plug-in hybrid can displace up to a staggering 50 gallons of petroleum fuel per year. So when you think about a standard PHEV having a 15 to 20 kilowatt hour battery, the sheer amount of gasoline you are removing from your annual consumption is absolutely massive. Now, what's really interesting about this data is how your personal driving and charging habits literally dictate the car's efficiency. Using the early Chevy Volt as a benchmark, just look at the extremes here. If you drive in pure gasoline-only mode without ever plugging it in, you get a decent but pretty standard 37 miles per gallon equivalent. If you drive entirely in all-electric mode, you hit 93 mpge. But here is the magic. If you combine them, frequently plugging in and driving, say, 45 miles between full charges, your combined fuel economy skyrockets to 168 mpge. Frequent plugging in drastically multiplies your efficiency. And of course, that fuel efficiency translates directly to your bank account. A study by Lamar University and Oak Ridge National Lab found that while a standard hybrid saves about 40% in energy costs, a plug-in hybrid yields a massive 60% savings compared to a conventional gas vehicle. You are actively driving down your operating costs every single time you connect to the grid. The historical barrier has honestly always been the sticker price, mainly due to that large battery. But these operating savings are much more accessible now because the underlying technology costs have absolutely plummeted. Between 2007 and 2012 alone, lithium-ion battery costs dropped from $1,300 per kilowatt hour all the way down to $500. And that's a trend of cost reduction that has continued, making these vehicles vastly more affordable to both produce and purchase. So the crucial point is, all of this technology perfectly aligns with our actual lives. Why do so many plug-in hybrids target right around a 40-mile electric range? Well, it isn't arbitrary. Research has consistently shown that 78% of daily commuters in the U.S. travel 40 miles or less. By sizing the battery to cover that specific distance, manufacturers keep the car light and affordable while allowing nearly 80% of the population to complete their daily commute using exactly 0 drops of gasoline. We've explored the ingenious engineering, the surprising century-old history, the incredible market growth, and the undeniable cost savings of the plug-in hybrid. It's really an extraordinary piece of technology that elegantly solves the tension between range anxiety and environmental responsibility, which leaves us with one final vital question. Based on your daily commute and your weekend adventures, is a plug-in hybrid the right bridge to the future for your driveway? Take a look at your own driving habits, and you might just find that the perfect car has been waiting for you to simply plug it in. Thank you for joining this explainer, and keep learning.